Pattaya City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
I have to have my notes. I'm getting very old these days and forget things. Please forgive me on that. Before I go into the Burapa Bike Week and all the details of Burapa Bike Week, I'd like to give you just a background to myself, a brief background I will say, because my life has been long, eventful, and has eventually brought me to Thailand and to Burapa, and it has some relevance. Also, I don't think I could speak for 20 minutes on just Burapa. So I'm from London, England. I came to Thailand in 1978 for the first time, and I came many times after that because I was doing fashion events in Japan. I was in the fashion business, and I had a very, very good label which was pretty well known. It was called Carapace and was a label selling leather garments, highly styled to the rich and famous, and that took me to doing shows in Japan. And I stopped off in 78 and had a look at Thailand. Came to Pattaya, and which was just a dirt road, nothing here at all, just the main beach road that you see today, but it was a grit surface. So it was very, very simple. I loved it. It was a superb place to come to. This moved on to the late 80s, where I bought my first apartment here and decided that when I would retire, I would come and live here. And that's exactly what happened. So, excuse me, I've just recovered from this dreadful cough, and I'm a little bit slow. So before I came here, I also started another business beside the fashion business, which was the karaoke software business called Sunfly, which still goes today after 36 years. But I sold Sunfly in the year 2000, my share of it anyway, and I built a resort in Koh Chang. And I also built the Nirvana condo in Pattaya and the Nirvana hotels in Jomtien. Around about 96, I became very interested in the bike scene here. And there was two clubs involved. One was called Burapa MC and one was called Jesters MC. And I was served what is called a prospect in the motorcycle industry, in the motorcycle club industry. And a prospect is somebody that actually rides with the club, but is not a full member. So you ride with the club, you don't have colours, you just spend about 2 years, as it was with me, riding with the club, and then you received your colours. And I got my colours in 98. The Jesters MC, I think most of you probably know the Jesters MC or have heard about them. They started a charity called Take Care Kids. And Take Care Kids raised up to date around 80 million baht for charity. Thank you. I was very much involved with that. I used to do what's called the Gala Night. We had it next door in the Amari. And I did the Children's Day, which was at the Regent's School. And when I say I did this, I did all the entertainment and stage arrangements. So because of my previous involvement with bands as well as the fashion business and the karaoke business, I had contacts and was able to put shows together, which is it's not an easy job, and you've got to be right on top of it. But I managed to do it here, and it was very, very successful. And like I say, we raised all this money, which was a very satisfying thing for me to do. I'm still with the Jesters today. I'm still a member. I've been vice president. I never wanted to be president. I didn't have the time to do the work. And Jesters is still going strong, I'm happy to say. My work with the motorcycle industry, with the motorcycle here in Thailand, drew me to trying to get a good position for bikers to be recognized as something other than overweight, bearded, violent people, which sadly is the impression that many people get. And it's simply not true. Yeah, they look pretty fearsome, you know, the colours, the bike, the noise of the bike, etc. But they're not like that. And motorcycle clubs are divided a little bit in that there are 1% motorcycle clubs and there are just motorcycle clubs. So there is not a big difference between the two, because that's what I've been working against. It's a situation where the 1% actually live the life of a motorcycle guy. And the 1% means that they give themselves totally, that's all they want to do. The 95% are the ones that don't give themselves totally and just want to be a part of it. That's how it works. So you have clubs like Hell's Angels and Bandidos, Gremium, Outlaws. These names may be familiar to you, not in the right way, but they may be familiar to you. Outside of Thailand, these clubs are very competitive with each other. And they do have battles, they do have problems over territory they operate in and so forth, a bit like a mafia situation. But they're not mafia. And these days, the clubs are business operated, correct business operated. For example, the Hells Angels have vast amounts of property and are very, very well funded and look after their members. And this is how the whole thing has changed, in that everything with the 1%ers has become mainstream. So we have most of these names here in Thailand, here in Pattaya. They are here right now. And you don't hear very much about any problem with them. And the problems, if there are problems, they're not necessarily correct in the reporting. So it was my idea about 4 or 5 years ago that we would try and pull them all together, the 95% guys to the 1% guys, and bring them all as one with equality. Each club was an equal member. And 4 years ago, I arranged a night at one of the bigger clubs, the Mad Dogs. You may have heard of them. They have 6 different chapters in Southeast Asia. They have one here in a very nice clubhouse and facility. And I got all these clubs to come, one by one. They agreed to come. So I had about 15 clubs together. And I discussed this with them, that we should start a movement, the UPMC, the Union of Pattaya motorcycle clubs. And it was received quite well. I also invited a very high-ranking police officer to come, and we all made a pledge to this gentleman that we would obey the law, we would live peacefully here, and that all we wanted to do was live with our families and ride, basically. That was it. And do everything legally. And this was a pledge that was made, as I say, 4 or 5 years ago, and has been kept to totally. And we have no problem with the local police. In fact, the local police ride with us and are very much a part of the UPMC. So this UPMC is still going and will continue to go as far as I'm concerned. It's a solid thing. In fact, we have a monthly meeting, and I chair that meeting every month, and that's what I do tonight. So moving on to Burapa. Burapa is run by my colleague, Jumin. Many of you may know Jumin. He's quite a well-known figure in Thailand. He's extremely well connected and very respected, and he is the president of the Burapa Motorcycle Club. 26 years ago, he and I, him mainly, decided that we would like to do some sort of party and give the bikers a good time. The bikers then comprised only a handful of people. To give you an idea of how small it was, I personally, when I bought my first Harley, which was '98, had 2 bikes in the whole country to choose from. So this was not a difficult choice. It was which one was going to be the right one or the cheapest one. And I bought my Harley and was, as I say, a prospect for the jesters. And I'd never ridden a motorcycle before when I bought it. And the day after buying it, I was on my way to Bangkok, and then from Bangkok down to Phuket with a 3-day ride. And that was my first experience. Since then, I've ridden all over Thailand. There's no town, I think, that I haven't ridden through. I've ridden into Laos, to Vientiane, Vien, Luang Prabang, up to the Chinese border. I haven't been into China, but I've done most of Laos. Then going south, I've done all of the southern regions, and I've done Malaysia, Penang, and Kuala Lumpur, and then on down to Malacca and Singapore. So I've covered most of Southeast Asia on the bike. Also, a lot of the times my wife of 22 years, she's accompanied me on a Harley, on a Road King. She's 42 kilos and drives the biggest Harley you can buy. So we had a lot of fun together. We still do. So Jumin and myself decided that we would do this little party. And it was somewhere on Jomtien. I can't remember exactly where, more like Na Jomtien. We had about 100 people, and we had a sort of a little stage, if you call it that, and I found somebody to play, and we had a first party. That was 26 years ago. And I've been involved with every party since, and slowly but surely taken it from just a little field through to a bigger field, through to various locations. And we started around about the 6th or 7th one to get assistance from City Hall and the police. So it started to get bigger about the 6th or 7th one. And it was interesting how it developed, because I wanted to take it more into the Thai and foreigner. It had always been a Thai thing. So I started working on that and bringing in the odd band the odd Farang band into the equation. And it went really, really well until about, I would say, the 10th one. And then I started getting the bigger bands in, Thai bands, and they started to be a little bit more difficult with me being a foreigner on the stage. They were going on when they shouldn't go on and so forth. You know how it can be sometimes. Thais want to do it their way, and you have to compromise and get the best from it. But it got very difficult, so I said to Jumin, if we're going to do this and develop this into something really international, you have to give me the power to dictate clearly when bands go on and how long they're on for and when they come off and so forth. And he did that, and he said to every band that came to play, you must listen to this guy because otherwise you can't go on. And that's when I managed to get a grip on it, and we started to get really, really good bands coming. And this culminated in about, I think it was 6 years ago. I had a friend in Guns N' Roses called Ron Bumblefoot Tal. He's an extremely well-known guitarist. And I just suggested to him, maybe he might like to come and play. And he said, sure. And he came and he played for us. And this sort of changed everything. It started to get very attractive to a lot of people that we would get bands of people of that caliber coming. And I got more and more bands wanting to come and play from America, from Sweden, Germany, Japan, England. And it started to develop there really heavily from that point on. And also the help from City Hall became more. They started to give us toilet facilities, bigger venues, and the police became very much involved, because when you're dealing with thousands of people coming in and out, you have to have a very good police presence. And it just got bigger and bigger until you get up to what it is now, which is, I don't know, there must be at least 50,000 people over 3 days. And any of the evenings of Friday or Saturday, it goes on for 3 days now, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. But any of the evenings on Friday or Saturday, you would have at least 10,000 people in front of each stage. So this became very, very popular with the bands. So I had no problem getting bands, but I just wanted to keep it very much as an international thing. So if bands were coming from different countries, then they sort of got priority. So, for example, on this one, I have bands from 8 countries, including Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Maldives. The Maldives band is the biggest band in the Maldives, and is government sponsored, which makes life pretty easy for me. Burapa is a free concert. You want to come to it, you just turn up and get in there and mix with the people. There is, like I said, there is no problem with the bikers at all. And I've only ever seen one incident in 26 years. And it was rather comical, if not serious. And that was on a Saturday afternoon. Everything was quiet and waiting for the development of, in fact, I think most of the bikes were on that tour around town. And 2 guys came out, I think they were Russian, and I don't know why they did this, but they came out and took a flag, which happened to be German, and set fire to it in front of the Gremium stand, which is a 1% German club. And I said over the microphone, don't do anything, guys, leave it to me. And I just said security, and that was it. 2 plainclothes guys who are actually from the army here, and they're equivalent to SAS people. They're the only presence we have for security. We don't have police. They were out in like a shot and grabbed these two guys and just took them away. That is the only incident I can recall. I've never seen a fight. I've never seen them. I've heard of some drunken odd brawl here and there, but never seen a serious fight. There's never been any trouble between the clubs at Burapa, ever. In fact, what happens, the clubs actually mingle with each other. They all have a booth, and they all go and visit each other's booth, which is really something which you will not see anywhere else in the world. You will not encounter that situation anywhere, at any event. Only here in Pattaya, in Thailand. And I'm very happy to say that this attitude has spread to all the other events in Thailand. That I don't attend all of them, there's too many, but there is a getting together of the clubs everywhere in Thailand when there's an event. Burapa just happens to be the biggest, but there's many other smaller events in Phuket and Khon Kaen, Buriram, and there is never any form of trouble. So I recommend to bring children. It's perfect for children. They absolutely love it because there's bikes everywhere. They're greeted on every stand. There's lots of drink, lots of food, lots of things for them to see and enjoy. And there's not enough children there. And the children that do come really, really love it. And I want everybody here to come and visit. And believe me, what I say is absolutely true. You will have no problems whatsoever. And you can go on the stands, you can look at the bikes, you can talk to the people, and they will be gracious and gentlemen. So I do hope you all can come. So this year has been very difficult because we've had COVID, and the last one we did was in 2020, and I think we did it in the second week of February. And then the week after, everything was closed. The week after. So we were very, very lucky to complete it. We completed it. There was I heard nothing about anybody getting COVID from that particular event. Maybe they did, I don't know. But everybody seemed to be fine. And that was the last event we did. So this is 3 years later. And it's been quite difficult to get full permission to have a big concert from the local government and the government, because they were insisting at some point that we have seats for 10,000 people, which was totally ludicrous. We couldn't do that, and if we did, they would all end up in a pile in the middle, or people just standing on them, I don't know, but it wouldn't end well for the seat, that's for sure. So we got round that. And then it was everybody had to wear masks. We've got round that. Then it was everybody got to be checked going in, and we've got round that. So basically at the moment, it'll be just the same as it's always been. You just go straight in. And there's plenty of parking there. It's a huge car park we have there. You can go in one way, you can go out another. So there is no problem with that side of things. We have 2 very large stages, and we have 4 or 5 even, I'm not too sure, other smaller stages. We actually have around about 130 different bands playing there on the different stages. I'm responsible for the 2 big stages, and I have, the last count, 28 bands that I have to slot in over the 3 days, which is actually quite difficult, but that's what I'm working on right now, and it will all come to pass. It will all be fine. Just to give you an idea of how it works with the music, on Thursday it'll be a setup day, and music will be from around about 4 in the afternoon through till midnight, and then on Friday it'll be a similar thing, but it'll be on 2 stages. So Friday is quite an important day for music. On Saturday is again the 2 stages, and that's when we had the bigger acts come and perform there. They obviously are Thai acts and they are foreigner acts, and I try and put them sort of one after another like that. But the rock stage, as we call it, is where mainly the foreign acts will be. And the other stage, which is the king stage, as we call it, will be where it's run more Thai style with more Thai acts and quite a bit of talking going on. So I tend to set up the king stage and then retire back down to the rock stage and run that and let the king stage run itself in a way, because the people who come to the rock stage, they want to rock. They want music, they don't want too much talking, and it is reverse on the king stage. So it'll be going from on Saturday from 5 o'clock right the way through until midnight, when the king stage will close, and then the rock stage will be the only stage going, and that will go on till 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. And it does every time. And it's only when we switch the power off that people go home. Otherwise they would stay forever. You know, it's like that. It's the whole event really grabs people and grabs their imagination. And you know, I get people coming up to me on the stage and they're holding 1,000 baht notes and saying, please take my money. This has been so good. I pay for nothing. I've had food, entertainment, drink, and I just want to give you some money. And of course, I know I can't. I never take it. And it is, as I say, totally free. And you will really enjoy it. We shall continue with it for as long as we ever can. You know, as long as there's motorbikes around, there will be a Burapa Bike Week. Last year, I had a visit from a guy from Sturgis in America. He is very well known, a guy called Charlie Brechtel, and he came to see what it was all about. And he was sent there by Woody, who runs Sturgis, which is the biggest bike week in the world, as you all know. And he came just to sound us out. And he was so impressed with everything that he wanted me to go to Sturgis and him to come here and to exchange views. And he was going to bring Woody from Sturgis to see the whole thing. Unfortunately, when he returned, he went on a ride, and he was phoning me every day because we became very friendly in the short time he was here. And he did a lovely ride for about 6 days and said, I'm going home tomorrow. And when he came to his hometown, within half a mile of his home, he went over a crossing and a car hit him and killed him. And this was a huge loss for me, and a huge loss for Burapa, and a huge loss for Sturgis. And fortunately, his PR person, he made 2 videos, 2 full films about motorcycles and Sturgis and Burapa. The film is actually being edited now. We are on this film with the Sturgis rally. And his PR, she's coming over and she's going to visit us. Her name is JC Guns. She's a very well-known lady in America, and I'm also going back. And I'm going to visit Sturgis next time, which I'm really looking forward to. So we are moving on. We are worldwide. I would place us as top 5 or 6 in the world at the moment. We're certainly top in Asia. There's nothing like Burapa in Asia at all, anywhere in Asia. So I'm very proud of the whole thing. I just wish that our local authority would get more involved. They're very busy, and I'm happy to see it too, in putting on events on Beach Road and so forth with huge investment, massive investment. And we ask for very little, and we get very little, but it would be nice to get a bit more. It'd be nice to have one of their stages, which are superb, if they could build that But so far they see us as a little bit left field, you know, a little bit out there, and but they do recognize that we bring a lot of business into Pattaya in the time, the week before and the week after. Hotels are full, and it really is down, a lot of it down to us and Bike Week. So that's what I'd like to see, a little bit more investment from locally in us, a little bit more recognition of what we actually do. I mean, we are the oldest event in town, 26 years, and this would be very satisfying, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think we'll just probably carry on as we are. It is difficult to fund because we are free. So the only way we make money is by renting out booths and space to people. That's the only way we can make money other than sponsors. We have people like Yamaha, Royal Enfield, Chang Beer, many big companies are giving us a little bit of money, and that really helps us along. But it is extremely difficult. We could do with a major sponsor who came in, and I could give them the whole stage or even the 2 stages, and they could give us a couple of million baht. That would really sort it out, but I'm still looking for that. So any of you know anybody, you know, I'm open for business. They can have the whole of the backstage by negotiation, and 50,000 people will see that, and television from all over the place comes. So it's a bit of a surprise to me that we haven't got people clamoring to actually take the backstage. Maybe they don't know about us. I don't know what the answer to that. But if you know anybody who wishes to sponsor, and once we start with somebody, we won't go to anybody else. We'll stay with those people. We're extremely loyal to anybody that helps us. I can't think of anything more to tell you. Thank you very much for listening, and I appreciate it immensely, and thank you very much for letting me come here. Sorry, if there's any questions. If there's any questions from anybody.
Just the most important question is, what dates is it in February?
Thank you. I was a little bit hasty there. It's 9, 10 and 11 of February. And that's Thursday, Friday and Saturday.
Who thinks they might like to go to Burapa now?
Oh, that's good.
Right.
Oh, success.
Who was going to go to Burapa before they heard this guy talk? Yeah, like a corner of them.
Then.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Richard. It was a wonderful talk. Thank you. Where is it? Direction. Yeah, where is it this year? Is it the same place?
It's the same place. Now, I'm sure all of you know where Soi Chai Brook is. There's Chai Brook that goes from the beach right up to the stadium, crosses the Sukhumvit. So there's Chai Brook 1, which is the beach area of Chai Brook, and there's Chai Brook 2, which is the other side of the Sukhumvit side of Chai Brook. So if you go down Sukhumvit towards Satahip, it is the main Chai Brook left turn. I think most of you probably know that. And then you go directly up to the end of it. There'll be signs everywhere, and you will find the stadium, the Soi Chai Brook Stadium, which is an indoor stadium. But we're not indoor, we're on the outside of it, and we're on about 40 rides of land on the outside. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for your starting 26 years ago, because I've been there 2 or 3 times, I think, maybe 4, and you have been on the wine place again, and I've been there. And I will ask you, I think I will drink, and not only me, drink some beer, and I don't like to drive with my motorbike when I have too much beer. So can I sleep there on the way, only on the floor, to bring my coverage myself and stay there, hoping it is not raining?
Can you camp there, you mean?
Sorry?
Can you camp there?
Yeah, no, I'm not camp. I don't have a tent. I don't like to have a tent. Only sleeping on the bottom.
Of course.
It's not, I can do. Okay, thank you.
Of course, I mean, everybody should bring their rug to put on the floor, and there's a lot of seating But if you want to just go on the grass, you know, on the floor, just bring something to sit on. And
Yeah.
there's masses of room. Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for the time you've given to the club. You're obviously a very busy, committed person, and I'm absolutely amazed where you're getting your stamina from at your age. But being a long-term motorcyclist from when I was 16, and I'm getting a bit long in the tooth now.
Never say that, sir.
Yeah, I think once a motorcyclist committed, you are. And I was in all the BSA clubs in England. In fact, I owned a 1957 BSA Road Rocket for a number of years and rebuilt it 3 times.
Wow.
And unfortunately, when I moved out to Thailand, I don't know whether you know Colin Marshall. He used to race for Thailand, and I was always a friend with him. He's not very well now. And I asked him, and he said, John, he said, don't bring it out here. He said, because you'll never get it off the key. Some interested officer will keep putting up the duty. So
That's correct.
having sold it and broke my heart recently, I'm interested in probably buying a Triumph 650.
Nice.
Not a new one. I can't afford a new one. But will there be any facilities to talk to anybody where I could possibly buy a 650 Triumph?
Just let people know. If you want, I'll put it out. I know one guy that's selling a very nice Triumph. I think it's a bit bigger than 650. But just let me know. Anybody wants to hook up with me, I'm on Facebook, Richard Rhodes, Rhodes. Just link up with me if you want to have any information about bikes or bike clubs, whatever, or you want to sell your bike or buy a bike. I'll put it out onto 3 different sites. Very happy to do that. So hook up with me on Facebook. I'm incredibly bad with IT, by the way, so you must forgive me on that. I really can't get my head around computers. That's where the age problem is the problem. I'm 78. I'm 79 in a week, and I still ride a Harley and have no problem with that. And yeah, I keep going because I keep doing stuff because I think if I stop doing stuff, I'm just going to fade away. I get that feeling. And COVID was a huge, huge problem for me because not only was I on my own all the time, I was having mental problems. I didn't know who the hell I was after 2 years of being on my own and just staring at a television or the computer. You know, it was a really bad time. And I have to say that Burapa and the UPMC and those things that I still do really kept me going and kept me sane. This will probably make you laugh also, but I decided to start a new business, and I have a cannabis business in Soibacau. I sell weed, so I'm also a drug dealer as well as being a fashionista and a music business guy. So that's I'm not advertising my business. I'm just telling you this as an interesting point. I don't stop. I won't stop until it actually happens, and I go. There is no point. My legs work. Everything works. I'm okay. I had open heart surgery about 14 years ago because I was told I got 18 months to live, and I had a prosthetic aortic valve fitted. I may have to do that again fairly soon. I'm not too sure, but I have the checkup next week to see if I need to do it or not for another 6 months. So I live 6 month by 6 month, and I live every day as if it was my last day. Yes, sir. Madam.
Thank you for the talk. It was really amazing. I enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward. I'm really looking forward to attending the event. But I was wondering, what is the meaning of the word Burapa?
Yeah. I think it's something to do with sharks. What is it? Do you know? Tell me, because it's such a good question. I've never actually asked what it meant. It's used constantly, so it is an important word, but what does it mean, do you know?
We don't know.
No, it's not a rude word. It's very important. Yes, sir. It's a directional thing.
Okay.
So it's quite fitting for a bike club then. But it's... Yes,
Over
sir.
here. I got a couple friends of mine riding bikes up in the mountains now. And they tried to go over to Laos through Savannah Kit. And they said you could take your truck, but you can't take your bikes. And
That is rather strange. I have to say that everything keeps changing. It goes backwards and forwards to, yes, you can do it, to no, you can't. It was like Cambodia. You can go into Cambodia now with a bike. There's people doing it. I don't know why Laos is like that. I don't know why they've done that. But it's a constant change thing. Countries are worried about you taking the bike in and selling it and all that sort of thing. But, yeah, I can't answer why. I'm surprised. I know people who are going into Laos on bikes right now. Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're talking about bikes, because I've been a biker all my life. I'm not a BSA man. I'm a Triumph and Norton man.
Okay.
No, seriously. Now, this show that you're putting on, does it start at, say, 11 o'clock in the morning, or only when the music starts? You haven't said anything about that yet. Is there side shows with all the bikes on display? And then, obviously, places to eat and drink, etc. You haven't mentioned it.
Yeah, you're quite right, sir. You're quite right. It's a shortcoming there. All day long, there's something going on. Displays, aerial displays. There's some quite horrendous things go on, which health and safety in any European country would say, "Oh my God, you can't do that." It's like they have these microlight planes, and they come and swoop down and go within about 20 feet of the floor, and then go up again, and they keep doing this backwards and forwards. It's amazing to watch, but extremely dangerous for the participants. And one of them did crash through the tent of a booth a little while ago, and unfortunately the lady in the booth broke her arm. So there are some incidents. The other thing they do, which is really quite wild and great to watch, but you stay out of the way, is they have this in the afternoon. They have this where they take all forms of machinery, from motorcycles to not cars, but any form of like 3 wheels and 2 wheels, and they just go round and round and round like maniacs around the middle of the stadium, in front of the rock stage. And this is wonderful to see, but they crash into one another, and there's mild injuries, but they still laugh about it. There's something going on everywhere all the time. And
so it starts at what, 11 o'clock in the morning, or 10 o'clock in the morning, all afternoon?
No, I would suggest coming in the afternoon when you come, and if music won't start till 5. I mean, there's music all the time. There's great music. We have a great DJ, but the music, live music, doesn't start until 5. So yeah, you if you want the music, come after 5 o'clock. I would suggest come for really good music, come at about 7. Yes.
Yeah, hi Richard. Thanks for being an excellent speaker.
Well,
just a question. You mentioned that you had somebody come up to you and offer you 1,000 back, and
yes,
you refused it.
Many people, not
Can
one.
you tell me if this event funds any charities then, or you make any money from it to fund charities?
Any surplus of the event goes to charity. I think the last thing that was supported were the flood victims up north. We sent about 300 people up there with money to help the flood victims. Yeah, flood victims every year. It appears to be now every year, and we get involved in that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, how do you get around the alcohol law here?
What a great question.
I mean, it happened to me once. You had to have it in some sort of coffee cup or whatever.
Okay, the alcohol problem is a big problem, and I'll explain why. The King Stage, which is on the land of the government, in other words, in front of the indoor stadium. It's a big park area. I'm sure most of you have seen it at some point. A lot of people go dog walking there. It's a big area, about the size of 2.5 football pitches. This belongs to the government, it's government land, and we cannot sell alcohol in that area. We can drink it, but we can't sell it. So the alcohol sales have to be in the hired area, the rented area, which is where the rock stage is, which is like down a slope a bit. There's another area of land about 20 rise, and that's where Chang sell beer. And that's where we buy beer from Chang at wholesale, and we can retail it in that area only, but you can consume it everywhere. So that's how it works. It is a difficult problem, and has been a difficult problem all along, and was a difficult problem this year too. So a good question. But there is alcohol, that's for sure.
Well, apart from anything else, Richard, you've proved that motorcycle riders are literate people who know how to talk. Right. Thank Richard for a truly wonderful talk. Come and
thank you, everybody.
Come here, Richard. We've got a little token of our appreciation here. I just have one more question. Is there a website or is it a Facebook page we should check out in terms of Burapa?
There's a Burapa Bike Week site, which I run. Burapa Bike Week. It's very easy to find. That's a Facebook site. And there's my own site, Richard Rhodes. You can get me on either of those. Yeah.
So thank him again. Well, it was really interesting hearing the history of it all. And just quickly, what sort of proportion of a club, say your club, Gestures, is Farang and what's in Thai versus Thai?
Gestures is almost, well, it is totally, at the moment, is totally foreigner. We had a Thai member right from the beginning. He was one of the first 13. You know, in bike clubs, the first 13 are important people and remain important people all the way through the life of the club. And his name was Pistol Pete, and he unfortunately died this year. So we don't have any Thai members at all right now. Jesters have around 40 members. We're still quite a big club. And I think most clubs, I mean Bandidos, for example, they're a 1% club. They have about 10 different chapters in the country. They have probably 500 members.
Well, very enlightening, and as I say, from personal experience, I cannot recommend too highly going and checking out Burapa. It's a really phenomenal, energetic vibe there. It's amazing, but I don't think you'll see me there at 9 o'clock the next morning.
By the way, you're all very welcome to come and say hello to me. I'm on the rock stage most of the time, and come backstage and have a drink. You're very welcome.
I can vouch for that because I've had a drink with him backstage. All right, thanks again, Richard. Wonderful talk. Thank you so much. So I'm willing to say, who found that when they came here, and there were a few people probably talk about Burapa, do I really want? Who thought that talk was better than they could have possibly imagined it would be? Right? It was just a fantastic talk. And that actually came because I go to a coffee shop